Wait, did it say that we're out of storage?
Did it?
Yeah.
There, that should take care of it. There. That should take care of it, don't you think?
I hope so.
We didn't even have that. It's great. You are looking live here in beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah, here at DNA HQ. My name is Darren. That is AJ. What's going on, AJ?
Not much, buddy. I'm just living the good life, man. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Doing well. Super excited about today's episode.
Hell yeah.
On today's episode of the DNA Sports Recap, we have for you...
The University of Utah has a 5-star recruit. Let's talk about it.
In the National Hockey League, the Utah Mammoth has snagged an NHL champ.
With the Utah Jazz, who stood out in Summer League so far this season?
In Major League Baseball, the Rays have been sold. What does that mean for the future of the team? All that and more. My name is Darren. That is AJ. And this is the DNA Sports Recap.
Roll the intro.
What's going on, my friend?
What up? What up?
Excited to be back. Excited to be doing this.
Yes.
It's another Wednesday, another glorious Wednesday.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be fun. We're going to talk some football. We're going to talk some hockey. We're going to talk some jazz. We're going to talk a lot of stuff. But before we get into it, folks, let's go ahead and talk about your Utah Football Club. We launched a channel specifically for the University of Utah called Utah Football DNA. We'd like you to encourage to join the conversation in the comments down below. And while you're down there, considering subscribing to the channel and smash that like button for your boy AJ over there.
Boom. Do it.
Got a t-shirt. Check out the merch store down there. I believe we have Whittingham's Mercenaries.
Yeah,
t-shirt
that's a
up
good
for that
shirt
one.
too. It's a
Sure,
good
check
one.
it out.
Yeah.
Sure, check it out. Yeah, and again, consider subscribing to the channel if you're here for the Utes content. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about it here. The subject that came up over the week was, well, we didn't land a new recruit. The new recruit got a new ranking, which is really cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you want to break this one down?
Yeah. No. Yeah, absolutely. So the recruit is Kelvin Obot. He is a previously 4-star and now 5-star recruit out of Fruitland, Idaho. He moved up to the number 7 overall in the 2026 class on the Rivals rankings. So he is now one of 12 5-star recruits in the updated Rivals 300. He's a 6'5", weighs 300 pounds. He's an offensive lineman. Yeah, and he just committed to the University of Utah on July 1st. So really, really cool. I mean, this will make him the highest ranked recruit in Utah history.
Yes.
And I mean, I think it comes at kind of a really unique time. I mean, the fact that, you know, this coming into this next year, Utah's got 2 potential top 10 offensive line draft picks. You think that changes his ability or his, I guess, desire to maybe commit to a school that is obviously doing a good job developing in-house talent?
Yes, I think Kelvin is thinking that that's probably the main reason for why he chose University of Utah over the other options. I mean, Utah, like you mentioned, is just known for putting linemen into the NFL.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, offensive or defensive, absolutely.
Either way, offensive or defensive, you know, they get noticed out here.
Yeah.
You know, and a team like Oregon, I believe, was one of the other teams that he was considering. That had an offer that he was looking into. You know, not so much, right? They're very much more. You know, they're not known for that as much as University of Utah is. So I think it definitely had a lot to do with it. I think what was a really unique thing about that is the fact that we're coming off such a bad season last year.
Yeah.
First losing season in over 12 years since Whit has been in charge of the program. It's one of the worst seasons he ever had with underneath the big headset there. And yes, that's my term. Don't steal it. Big headset. That's my deal.
That's
gonna-
my deal.
I'm going to trademark that. So, you know,
Dude, I'm going to get you a big headset shirt. It's going to be your face with a big ass headset on
there
it.
you go. Underneath the big
Under
headset.
the big headset.
That's right. Yeah, man, I think it's a big deal, man. He's the biggest recruit in Utah history, the highest ranked recruit in Utah history. That's a big deal, man. That's worth celebrating. So that's why we want to talk about it today. I just think it's super awesome that he is there. Now, hate to throw some cold water on this. It is just with the Rivals database.
Yeah.
You know, Utah, is ranked 17th in the 2026 recruiting class, and for the Big 12. Utah's 17 players in the 2022 recruiting class were ranked in the top 50 nationally, and then the top 10 in the Big 12. But this was according to 24/7 Sports. Obot is still considered a 4-star prospect for 24/7 Sports, and he's number 10 overall on the offensive lineman for the 2026 class. So not to throw cold water on it, but the fact that we do have somebody at a reputable database like Rivals database, I think speaks highly. And it's definitely worth something to celebrate, man. I go to the Utes, man. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Rivals did give him a 98 recruit rating, which would make him the highest rated recruit to commit to a Big 12 program for the 2026 class.
Yeah, which is really cool. The
Yeah,
fact that we're landing that, and again, we're not even, like I said, we're not even ranked in the top of the conference, when it comes to a lot of these power rankings.
We got the same odds to win, tied for the second highest odds to win the conference next year?
Yeah, the odds and rankings somehow don't go hand in hand, which
No,
is really weird.
they definitely don't, which is really funny.
Well, all this prediction is an exercise in futility because, everybody was picking the University of Utah. To win
we saw last year. We both made some pretty, at this point, look like bold predictions for the Utes to win the conference last year.
Yeah.
And
we thought they were well educated and well researched, and no, we were idiots based off of when they came out. But I just think it's super cool. We're definitely worth celebrating and something we want to make sure we mention. Now we also had something else going on in the college football world, which is Big 12 Media Day.
Yeah,
lots of interesting stuff to take away from that. Did you hear Commissioner Brett Yomark's opening remarks on this one?
I did not actually.
Yeah, so he gave an opening statement that highlighted the long list of championships that the conference had last year across multiple sports, which he also declared that this conference is the deepest in college football. First of all, no one cares about other sports. That's just kind of how it works when it comes to conference media day. All they care about is college football. So you start rattling off the fact that you guys won the lacrosse national championship or whatever. No one's going to care about that. So nice job. But you really love that he kind of does that.
I think it was the U that won the lacrosse national championship.
Oh, nice. I just pulled that one out. It shows you how much everybody cares. I just randomly picked the winner. That's awesome. But yeah, highlighting the conference that there are 9 returning starting QBs, and they have the most prestigious head coaches in college football. So I thought that was pretty cool. The thing that kind of just jumped out to me was the 9 returning starting QBs this year in the conference. I think that's going to be huge.
Yeah, I mean, it shows you a lot about the talent that this conference does have in it. It's kind of crazy that the 3 schools without returning starting QBs, one of them is the U. The second one's going to be BYU. The third one's got to be Oklahoma State.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
He got drafted, right?
Well, Alan Bowman was like 28,500 years old. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's probably like buried by now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking of the wrong school. But yeah, no, when it comes to, the 3 schools that aren't, that's actually a good point.
Yeah.
That's actually a very good point. But yeah, and the fun part about that is Devin Dampier is not a returning quarterback, and he's probably going to be one of the ones to watch in the conference. So
yeah,
super excited about that. One of the other marks that he made was standing pat. This is the first year underneath the Yomark regime where the league is standing pat at the school as the conference is. They're not adding any new schools to the conference, which, where the conference is sitting is a great spot. So there's no need to expand, which I also thought was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Big 12's in a pretty good position. I mean, they've built a really competitive conference, with the additions of Colorado, Utah, BYU over these last couple of years. And I mean, really, Houston's done a good job kind of up and coming. They're building a really tough program down there. And then you've got kind of your Big 12 blue bloods and, Baylor that, returning Sawyer Robertson is huge. You got Texas Tech. That's always a really good football program. So, this is going to be a really good conference to be in because your strength of schedule is it Big Ten and SEC? No, but there's enough good teams in the conference that coming out of it, I think you're going to have enough experience to be able to put a good enough product on the field that you can compete.
Speaking of which, one of the other things that kind of was a big talking point for the media day was, look at that, you just joined the dock. Look at that. Yeah. One of the other things that jumped out was that the commissioner and a lot of their head coaches had some opinions regarding college football playoff alignment. Yormark stated that, your mark. I don't know why it's so hard to say that. Your mark stated that a 5+11 was the right format in this new 16-game playoff that we got going on.
Yeah.
Kansas State head coach Chris Kleeman agrees, but wants to get rid of the bye, citing the wear and tear as a factor. So, I don't know, man. What do you think?
I mean, I think the 5+11 is, obviously automatic bids for the Power 5 conferences. I mean, you got Power 4 plus your one additional bid, which obviously went to Boise State last year.
Right.
I don't know how I feel about the additional bid on Boise State last year. I mean, they obviously came in and got worked.
Yeah. Someone's going to, though.
And the problem, somebody.
Who else would you put in there?
Yeah. They were the best. They were the best. Non-power.
I'm pretty
5
sure our
school.
college football teams friends in the comments will let us know which one they wanted in there. But yeah, man, the 5+11. I mean, when maybe 2 of those out of the 11 are going to end up getting to be in the Big 12, and we're splitting 3 between us and the ACC, and the SEC is getting like 3 or 4, and then the Big 10's getting the other.
I think that's some of my problem is like the SEC and the Big 10 want 4 automatic bids each.
Yeah, so that means you could have a team with 3 losses making it to the college football playoff.
But it's all strength of schedule.
Yeah, when your strength of schedule,
if you lost 3 games,
Tennessee
you only
State.
You've got 2 powerhouses in that division, in either one of those conferences.
Yeah,
and if you lost 3 games, you probably didn't play both of those. You probably lost to a crappy team, and then you probably lost 1 to a good team, and your 1 loss to a crappy team should be written off because you might have, lost
early in the season, non-conference. Yeah. That kind of crap just about drives me nuts. You have 2 losses going into it, then you lose the college football championship, but you're still in. So what was the point of playing the conference championship?
It just completely invalidates all conference championship games.
Yeah, it makes it not necessary. It makes it.
You just got to make it to it.
Yeah, it's like divisionals. Yeah. Divisional titles in baseball. All it does is give you better seating, which kind of ruins it, if you ask me. Some other, we want to hear from you. Let us know what you think on that one. You got anything else on the Big 12? Because I got a few things. A few other things.
No, not as much on the Big 12. I mean, I got some notes
Day.
on just the Utes section of the Big 12 Media Day.
Okay, we'll get to that last. I wanted to get to that one next. I did want to stay in state, though, and talk about the issues surrounding BYU and the uncertainty of Jake Retzlaff due to the honor code violations, leaving him ineligible to return this season. Coach Sataki declined to confirm that he wouldn't be with the team. However, it is likely that he would not be returning. 3-way competition for the position between Bear Bachmeyer, McKay Hillstead, and Trayson Bourget. Bourget, sorry.
Yep.
Trayson Bourget, which none of them have even taken a single snap for the program up to this point. So that's an interesting situation going on down south there.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the Trayson Bourget, he's the Utah State transfer. He had a relatively good season with Utah State last year. I mean, he ended up beating out Bryson Barnes for the starting position. So he's played some college football. He played in the Mountain West, and he's at least probably up to speed. The other 2 kids, Hillstead and who's the other one?
Hillstead and Bachmeyer?
Yeah, Bachmeyer, yeah.
Bachmeyer.
I mean, they're 2 4-star recruits. So, I mean, they're both really, really talented kids that are coming up. Obviously, haven't taken any college football snaps, but I mean, it's interesting. BYU kind of was hanging their hat on the whole Jake Retzlaff return, right? Because he was so valuable to that team last year. So it's really interesting to see how this is going to play out down south, and if they're, if that offense can keep going and find a rhythm without Retzloff under center.
Here's my take on that. I think they will.
I agree.
I honestly think that while Retzloff was, I think just how bad the Utah's quarterback situation was last year, elevated to make BYU's quarterback situation look a lot more stable and a lot better than it was.
Yeah.
I think we're not giving enough credits to the offensive line at BYU, and their running backs. I
Some
think
really good receivers out there.
Good receivers down there for sure. I think we can give a little bit more credit to those guys. I don't think that program, which a lot of folks out in local state media is kind of saying it's doom and gloom there because they don't have a quarterback. And I honestly think it's probably a little too early to call that. I think that the BYU's offense was a little bit more well-rounded than that. So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, so that's our BYU quota of the week there for Utah
Correct,
football.
for probably
DNA.
the next 3 weeks.
Yeah,
so.
we need to make sure we touch on it, And I still don't think that he comes to Utah, man. I don't. There's still people talking about that, and I just don't think it happens.
No, I don't think so.
All right.
I mean, unless he wants to come here and sit on at the end of the bench.
In all fairness, we don't ever want to count our quarterbacks before they're hatched. So we
count our quarterbacks before they're hatched.
let's get into conference play before we start.
We hate it when our quarterbacks hatch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. So did you see the remarks from Coach Witt in his
I did.
Big 12 Media Day?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he went on to make some, really a bunch of comments about kind of the buzz around Devin Dampier. And, he really praised him for his leadership, personality. He talked about him getting voted to the Leadership Council within 2 weeks of arrival, which is kind of rare, and it happened. I mean, it kind of shows you the voice this guy has on the team. He emphasized how Devin Dampier is a lead by example kind of guy, and he has a really strong desire to earn respect, which I think is it's funny because Witt always says this stuff about quarterbacks. I mean, he's been saying almost the exact same things about Cam Rising for like the last 4 years, and how he leads by example, and he's got so much leadership. And but I wonder if that's like more of a recruiting trait than anything. Like, I think that's what Witt looks for in quarterbacks, right? Like, you've got to be big man on campus, walk in the room.
You kind of have to be, dude.
You do.
It's the position in the sport.
Yeah.
It's not like any other sport. There's not a position in any other sport, with the exception of maybe goalie in hockey, that carries as much responsibility as the quarterback does in football. And when it comes to college football, when you have a lot of these, especially nowadays, you need to come in here and you need to have the attitude, and you need to have the confidence, you need to have the swagger, and you have all the adverbs, whatever you want to call it, to state that, okay, I'm here, I'm going to settle this, and we're gonna push forward, right? So
yeah. This isn't a race for quarterback. I'm the man. I'm going to take it from here.
I think it's really funny because I actually mentioned something about that in my notes kind of as well, that while it did kind of seem a little bit redundant for him, I think that's spot on. I didn't even think about that part, though, is that it's not necessarily him just repeating talking points, because you hear that a lot. Because when a coach talks about their upcoming competitor they're playing, and it's like a team's not even in conference, and they're just like, oh yeah, they did a great on a recruiting class, their front line is strong, they have a lot of returning players, and the coaches have been around for a while. It's like the same 4 lines over and over again, right?
Yeah.
In this case, I think you're spot on, man. I didn't even think about that. That's brilliant. That's not necessarily his talking points or his go-to lines. It's what he expects out of his quarterback, and I think that's a great point.
Yeah. I think it was really interesting. Did you see the two-way players conversation that he talked about?
No.
Okay, so he goes on to say that Utah is planning on using Smith Snowden at slot receiver, in addition to his defensive back role.
Right.
Lander Barton, the linebacker, will see snaps at tight end this year.
Right, and so will just left my brain. Quarterback / wide receiver / running back /
Nate Johnson.
There it is.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, he kind of talked about Sione Vaki's, success as a two-way player in the 2 seasons ago. And two-way plays kind of it's turning into a recruiting focus, right? There's a top in-state prospect, Celesi Moa, that Utah's in kind of his top final running, and I think one of his things is he wants to be able to be a two-way player. So I think Utah's kind of showing off. Like, yeah, we can run two-way players as well.
There you go. I like it. I like it. So one of the things that stood out to me was him reiterating some stuff here. What I liked about him was talking about a strong return for the Utes. Kind of more about him being like in the trenches and running it. And it kind of felt like this time, it kind of felt like he was talking about the program as if he wasn't the head coach.
Yeah.
He did He did reiterate in his interviews that Morgan Scally is a head coach in waiting for the team, and that he was there was a lot to finish, with the Utes, that he couldn't like step away. Like he mentioned a few times, like,
Unfinished business.
Unfinished business, basically.
Yeah.
With Witt's comments there, it very much sounded like that this is kind of like his swan song, man. Walked about Morgan Scally and how he actually had input on bringing in Jason Beck as the OC. The way he basically talked about it is kind of very much sounded like, when it comes to the media day anyway, that this might be the last time that we hear from Coach Witt at media day. I don't know. Just kind of the way it kind of came off to me, man.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I mean, we all know that Coach Witt's on the end of his career, right? And I could see him, if he comes out and wins the Big 12 conference this year and makes a college football playoff appearance, I could see him going out on the high note. He's not. I don't see him as the guy going out on another low note, though.
No, he's not going to go out on a losing season. I also think that it doesn't necessarily have to win the conference, but if he makes a playoff bid, we might see him hang up.
Right. Absolutely. I think one of his goals is to play in a college football playoff game.
Yeah.
And regardless of how far they get past that, like, I think that's like, I want to be there. I want to be on that biggest stage, right?
Probably wants to get that offer in bowl games off his back too,
Yeah, we've been struggling in bowl games, but they just haven't meant anything.
And then
it's really tough when you play in a couple consecutive Rose Bowl games, though.
Rose Bowls.
Yeah,
those kind of mean something.
They do, but I mean, you played tough in both of those games. You lose a quarterback in one of them, right?
Right.
It's just
Ohio State was the other one, right? When we didn't lose the quarterback, and they a lot of their players came. They didn't sit out for a lot of their teams, so they were pretty full strong there too. So, yeah, man, I don't know, man. Just kind of what I took out of it. I just kind of seemed like he was on his way out in that press conference. It kind of reminded me a lot of Clayton Kershaw's interview at All-Star game this year, and we'll get into that, talk about that a lot later. But definitely looked like he was definitely thinking there are less days ahead than there are behind, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. What else you got?
I think the only other thing was his comment on Jason Beck's complete autonomy over the offense.
Oh my gosh, do we hear this every time they hire a new OC? Oh my gosh, I'm getting sick and tired of it. Oh yeah, he's got total autonomy. Like, okay, how do you see the run? Oh, about 50-50. We're going to be running the ball about 50% of the time and passing about 50%. It's really around reading the defense and finding out whether or not what kind of package they're bringing forward, and really kind of making the best reads at the line of scrimmage and giving our offense the best opportunity to move the ball down the field, whether it be establishing the run game first, then opening up the passing game. Just basically, it's like, literally, did I not just say what he said every single time?
Every single time.
I'm sorry, man. To me, it just kind of sounded like more of the same. Did you pick up anything different?
Yeah, no. I mean, I think that's exactly it. And that's the only reason I brought it up.
Okay.
He pretty much always says, I do sincerely hope that he gives Jason Beck full reins and says, you run this offense. The Utah defensive coaches, Morgan Scally, had made multiple comments about how impressed he was with the new offensive system, how well Jason Beck is using his personnel and, spreading the field and making it really hard. So,
yeah, that's what I really liked about him, is that he's using the talents that the players have to fit his system versus trying to force a system on players.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I really liked about what I've seen on his offense so far.
I think it's going to be really good. I mean, like I said, I really do hope that he turns over the offensive keys and Jason Beck gets to run the offense the way he wants, and we can have a really good, productive offensive year, because this is a really good football team when we're a good offensive football team.
Here, man. Here. We want to know what you We want to know what you think, folks. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Once again, we want to hear from you. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Drop a like on this video. Check out our merch store down below. We do have Whittingham's Mercenaries. If you know, you know, because that's kind of like the inside thing with a lot of our merch is inside jokes within the DNA OGs. So if you've been around a lot, you know what we're talking about. But yeah, check out the merch store. And while you're down there, go ahead and smash that like button for your boy AJ over there. And consider subscribing to this channel, Utah Football DNA. If you're watching this on our live stream or checking us out on our main channel, DNA Sports Recap, after the fact, make sure that you check out the link in the description down below for Utah Football DNA. All right, man. You ready to talk a little bit about Utah Mammoth?
Always.
All right. Let's talk a little bit of hockey. All right, man. Once again, before we jump into the content, folks, we want to remind you to encourage you to jump in the comments down below. We just started a channel specifically for your Utah Mammoth called Utah Mammoth DNA. It is a channel dedicated to all Utah Mammoth content. All of our content on the Utah Mammoth will be posted here first. So if you're watching this on our live stream every Wednesday evening, or if you're checking us out on our main channel, DNA Sports Recap, after the fact, a link to Utah Mammoth DNA will be in the description down below. And look at the killer job AJ did on this logo, man.
You're welcome.
It is gorgeous.
Bam.
Absolutely gorgeous. Nice job.
I'll get that on a shirt for you, too.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, man. Well, there's kind of just really one subject we want to talk about this week because it was a kind of a big deal. It actually dropped on Monday. Nate Schmidt, excited to join the Utah Mammoth. So, yeah. Did you hear about this at all?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Nate Schmidt, he signs a 3-year, $10.5 million contract with the Mammoth. And he goes on to say that, Utah was a team that he kind of had circled for years, comparing, he kind of compared the rise of this team and
For a year. We've been around a year.
Well, yeah, but I mean, maybe he was circling the Coyotes before.
I don't know why he would do that. That just took his stock, dropped down a little bit. Just kidding, Coyote fans. You gave us a team, and they are awesome. So we absolutely love it.
Absolutely. But he kind of just said that, he sees Utah as a young, growing team that's, looking more and more ready to compete. Schmidt's obviously, this is his 6th NHL team in his 12-year career. So he previously played for Vegas, Florida, Washington, among some of the other teams. He did help the Las Vegas to a Stanley Cup in 2018. So he does bring a lot of really valuable playoff experience.
Yeah, I think that's why he's with it. I think that's why they wanted him.
And also expansion team experience, right? Like he's been on one of these teams that are being expanded, that he kind of knows some of that. That's really good stuff to have to kind of bring in, especially on a 12-year guy. He's been around the league. He's seen some teams. He's won a couple Stanley Cups. And he's definitely going to help, bolster that defensive line back there. So,
oh yeah, 34-year-old, coming out of Minnesota. By the way, Nate, happy birthday! It is his birthday today. It is his birthday today.
Dude, that's so
at the
cool.
time of recording. So happy birthday to Nate, the newest Mammoth. I don't know, man. I got to see a couple of interviews with this guy. What I really loved is that he was quoted in an article on the KSL interview previously with a different entity there, saying, My family trying to get some stability was kind of a big thing, Schmidt said in free agency. Getting into the community like Utah and Salt Lake, I think is going to be huge for a huge part of my future. Looks forward to hunting, fishing, and other things that Utah offers. Someone who considers himself to be outdoorsy. So all that kind of just jumps onto what we talked about last week, man, about the shift to Utah being a destination city for these NHL players, man. I mean, he just hit like the trifecta living in Utah, being an outdoor person, having a family, thinking about stability. By the way, number 2 baby on the way sometime next week. So congratulations. By the time this video probably comes out on our main channel, if it makes it to the main channel,
he could be a brand new dad. Yeah.
He will be child number 2 on there. So this guy gets it. The guy chose the right city for the right reasons, and it just speaks to what we talked about last week, man, about how for the Utah hockey franchise, this is a destination town, and we're shooting up that ladder, man. And I really am excited about it. Really looking forward to this guy. Schmidt has in his 2024, 2025, in his playoff experience, which was all in 2025, so I don't know why NHL.com does that. NBA does that too sometimes. The playoffs are all in 1 year, but they're counting the seasonal year for the team.
Oh, yeah.
I don't understand that. If the playoffs are all in 2025, why mention 2024 if it's the
2025 24 season, but it's the 25 playoffs?
Yeah, I don't understand that. It doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, so the 2025 playoffs, he had 12 points, 3 goals, 9 assists. More importantly, 18 blocks and 17 takeaways. That's a +9 on the ice in 23 games. He's foot, 190 pounds, like you mentioned, 12 years in the league, and a great addition to this D-line, man. 18 blocks and 11 takeaways in the playoffs is nothing to sneeze at, my friend.
Yeah. Did you see that he's also a longtime friend of Mr. Liam O'Brien, or Spicy Tuna himself?
No kidding. I did not see
absolutely. They played together in Washington. Schmidt even claims that he gave Liam O'Brien his nickname. Originally, it was Big Tuna.
Right.
And it has now been it's molded a little bit, and it's now Spicy Tuna, obviously. But
right.
He commented about how he was excited to kind of bring, their personality and their energy together in the locker room.
Oh yeah, man. I'm looking forward to it, man. These are two guys that are long in the tooth on their careers, not necessarily long in the tooth, but long in the tusks. See what I did there?
Boom.
But no, they definitely are. They're veterans, and they get where they're at. They get what they get to do for a living, and they're not taking themselves too seriously. They made their money in the league, and now they're playing for the team, and they're getting to realize they're doing a sport they love. And I just love having these types of guys, on the ice and in Salt Lake City, man. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. We want to hear from you folks. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below about the latest edition with Nate Schmidt joining the Utah Mammoth. Again, as a reminder, folks, we want to hear from you. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Drop us a like down there while you're down there in the comments there, and also check out the merch store. We got some stuff coming for you guys. Check out some of our Utah hockey stuff that's still up there while supplies last on that. And consider subscribing to the channel if this is the type of content you're enjoying. If you're watching this on our main channel, DNA Sports Recap, or you're catching us on our live stream, a link to Utah Mammoth DNA will be in the description down below. All right,
Boom.
my friend. Let's go ahead and hit a comment here. We got somebody in the comments there. Greg Hawkins, channel legend. What's up, Greg?
What's up, Greg?
Glad you joined us there, my friend. Thanks for jumping in the chat, saying hi. It's good to see you, buddy. Good to see you.
And Greg, it's golfing season.
Yeah,
so
dude. Hey.
I'm just throwing that out there. It's golfing season.
Hey, Greg,
So-
and your boys will travel a little bit. We'll drive
Yeah,
a couple minutes to meet you halfway there. For
absolutely. Yeah.
Sure. Let us
Like
know.
Thanksgiving, we could play Thanksgiving Point.
Ooh, I haven't played there. I haven't played
Never
there.
have?
Far. No. I've played a lot up north, and obviously here in the valley, but not up north. So, sorry, not down south in Thanksgiving Point. So that'd be fun. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and pivot on over and talk a little bit about your Utah Jazz.
First time. Sorry, man. I missed it. I think I haven't passed it.
I now have to make a edit in the audio for the podcast. Thanks, AJ. Anyway, so let's go ahead and hit another comment before we jump into the comments here. Jump into the content here. Let's golf Riverbend. Oh, nice. In Riverton. I have not golfed there.
I think I've played Riverbend, but I'm always game.
Okay, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
let's do it.
Should be fun. Man, jump. You know how to get a hold of us, dude.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Let's do that.
And are you thinking? I want to know if he's thinking 9 or 18. I don't. Sometimes I can do 18. Sometimes it depends on how I'm golfing.
It depends on what we were doing the night before, because
Good
that's
point.
what happened last time.
Good point.
That's what happened last time. Yeah.
That was terrible.
Golfing at 7:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
Nothing like a little bit of this and a cigar or two.
We're like, let's golf in the morning at 7 o'clock and it's midnight.
dude, we were gonna do it at 6. Remember that?
Yeah.
And drive even further. It would have been insane.
Terrible
good
idea.
Good stuff. Absolutely fun. It would be a great idea. What are you talking about? Memories. It's awesome.
Hey, victory.
That's right. Once again, folks, if you're watching this on our main channel, DNA Sports Recap, or catching us on our live stream here every Wednesday evening, we did start a channel specifically for your Jazz content, Utah Jazz DNA. A link to that channel will be in the description down below. All of our Jazz content will be posted here first. So if you're here for your Utah Jazz, check us out over there. If you're watching us on Utah Jazz DNA, make sure you drop us a like, hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, because we're going to be doing a jersey giveaway once this channel is monetized. So make sure to be around for that.
Yeah. Be around.
Be around.
It's not that hard. Be around.
Yeah. We're lonely. Come hang out with us. No, just kidding.
Talk to us. Help.
Yeah, exactly. Blink twice if you're in trouble. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into a little bit about let's Summer League, man. Let's get into it. This is a few things I want to kind of hit on real quick. There's a lot of talk about it now. Obviously, I get it. It is Summer League, right, AJ? Let's preface this by that, right?
Please.
Talking about Summer League is even worse than talking about preseason. Because at least in preseason, you're playing some of your players that
You're at
were
least playing NBA players also.
Yes. So that is even less than that. But setting expectations for this team based off of what you're seeing in Summer League, definitely something you need to pump the brakes on. We talked about that a lot last week. We talked about the Utah Jazz Summer League. The Utah Summer League as it was. Do you remember when it used to be called, oh gosh, what it used to be called? Not the Round Ball Ruckus. Yeah, Round Ball Ruckus or something like that.
It might have been.
Yeah, it could have been something like that. I can't remember the exact name of it. Let us know if you know what it was before. But anyway, so we want to talk a little bit about who stood out in the Summer League. Who's first on your list?
I mean, the guy that just got shut down. Did you see this? The Jazz officially announced today that Kyle Filipowskil has been shut down for the remainder of NBA Summer League.
Oh yeah, well yeah, that's not surprising,
right? And I mean, I think he's been probably the biggest. The thing is the thing about Summer League is playing in a league that is not full of NBA players. You have to be a men amongst boys in all of these leagues, right?
Right.
So I mean, I think Filipowskil has done a really good job as kind of being a standout. And, he had a 35-point performance against the Spurs. He's averaged 29.3, 7.7, and 2.3 assists through the 3 games he's played in Summer League so far. So, shooting 56.1% from the field and 39% from 3 in just over 28 minutes. It just shows this guy's ready. The team hasn't played well, but Filipowski's done a really good job coming out and just showing that he's above this level of play, right?
Yeah. Honestly, man, I think the only reason why he was even playing in this version of the Summer League is simply because I think they just forgot to get another center for this team. I honestly think they did. Like, who else was on the roster that was a legit center that could be under consideration?
I mean, I think he had some pretty good NBA games last year, but I think the big reason that he was here was because they needed to see this from him.
Yeah, I think what really stood out for me about Kyle Filipowskil, and yes, he's also first on my list. That's literally your first 2 sentences is exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
So thank you for stealing my notes there.
You're welcome.
I'm going to start turning it like this so you can stop doing that. But anyway, the thing that stood out to me more was not the performance, actually.
Yeah.
It was his defense. That's why he's a standout for me. And let me tell you why.
Okay.
His 35-point game against the San Antonio Spurs, 0 blocks. Now, he did have 11 rebounds, 1 steal, which he did have a plus-minus of 15 for the game, which is actually second highest for anybody on that court that day, which is really awesome, right? Yeah. In the Golden State Warriors game, he was second on the team in scoring with 21 points. 1 block was a negative 4 on the plus-minus due to 3 turnovers and 8 personal fouls. But that is why it stood out to me. It was that 8 personal fouls that jumped out to me. And do you know why, AJ?
Because you're only supposed to have 5.
No, because it's showing effort. It's showing what the Jazz actually want to see out of Filipowskil, which is seeing some defense. We talked about this earlier with Isaiah Collier and Bryce Sensabaugh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where we were talking about how we needed to kind of see them. That's exactly why Isaiah even got a shot last year, is because KG3 got demoted to the bench because he wasn't playing defense.
Yeah.
And that gave Isaiah
Collier
he was just
really struggling to stay in front of anybody.
Yeah. So they basically said, okay, we're going to put you in the second unit. We want you to really focus on defense because offensive-wise, we think are going to dominate these second unit guys. So just work on your defense. That's why I got demoted. What I've seen enough out of him on this defense, when we talked about it late last week, is that he's basically kind of a turnstile, man. Other than the fact that, I think they just literally did forget to have another big on the team. I think what they really wanted to see out of him was some type of effort on the defensive end. With all that said, his performance on the offensive end stayed enough to where they're like, okay, we can't not have this guy on the floor.
Yeah.
But I think that his time with Utah as a center is done. He's probably going to be a power forward for the Utah Jazz going forward.
I was actually just going to ask you that question. I was going to say, so do you think, because with his defensive, with his defensive woes, the way you clean that up is with Walker Kessler. You know what I mean? Right. So you have him out on the floor with Walker, who, if people are just going to shuffle in, you can almost go back to the Rudy Gobert defense, right? Where it's okay to be a turnstile. You're just sending guys into Rudy Gobert and he cleans everything up.
Yeah.
And I think Walker Kessler is that type of player that can clean up a lot of that stuff as long as guys are making the correct switches like the Jazz used to do, right? The 2019 Jazz.
I think if Flip has the opportunity to, because a lot of the time he went to go help the helper and then his guy got left, nobody backed him up.
Yeah.
I think on an NBA level, when he's playing with players like Walker Kessler and
those switches look a little more seamless than they do.
So I think that's going to, and he also is long enough and lengthy enough to make altering some shots. So I definitely think it's going to be a lot better for him.
He's long enough. I worry about his lateral quickness, though. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he's long. He's got natural length, but his lateral quickness worries me because NBA players are twice as fast as summer league players.
Yeah, but I think exactly to your point, Kessler's fast, Larry Markkinen's fast. You're going to have a very improved Cody Williams.
Yeah.
When it comes to that, you're also going to have a lot of other Ace Bailey, who's just an athletic freak. You're going to have a lot of these other players on our team that are basically going to kind of, like you mentioned, make up for the lack of defense and kind of fill those holes. I don't think he necessarily has to have the lateral quickness at the power forward they would need as a center to come off of those pick and rolls as strongly. But yeah, to me, that's what stood out about Kyle Filipowskil. Not necessarily his offensive performance, because that's been well documented, but I think it's because of his inability on defense that kind of makes his offense that we can't keep him off the floor. He can't be in development mode, really. He needs to see some court time, but I don't think it's going to be a center. I just think he can't back up Kessler. He needs to be on the floor with Kessler.
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe that's exactly what I think. Maybe that's why they got used Jusuf Nurkic.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, we need a 5.
Yeah, we need a traditional 5 next to him. I
Yeah.
think that's exactly where that kind of trade actually jumps in for sure. All right, let's go ahead and talk about, do you got another one?
You can go with your next one.
Okay, my next would be Walter Clayton Jr.
I think that's a great pick.
Okay.
I mean, this guy's been an absolute stud. I mean, he had 20 points, 4 assists versus the Thunder. He had 4 made threes. He's everything we thought he was going to be as a player out there, right?
Yeah.
And he needs he really needs this exposure to summer league, because everybody in summer league is a better, you know what I mean? Like, it is the next step up, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone there is the best player from their college team, the best player in their division. So to see him kind of step up and still be able to be really effective offensively, he's got really good vision. He makes really good passes. I'm really impressed with his kind of command of the floor. Like, he's okay dribbling the ball and waiting for plays to actually develop, where, there was times last year where it felt like Keontae was trying to rush the ball into a position. Like, he knew what the play was going to be, and he'd throw a bad pass into the middle of the floor, and it's like, easy,
Yeah. One thing that kind of stood out to me with Walter Clayton Jr., what has happened in this summer league, is he showed me that this kid is going to be a starter for the Jazz this season. It may not be in October, but mark my words, with his shown maturity, basketball IQ, reliability on both sides of the ball for this team, he's easily the top 4 most NBA ready player in the draft this year. Like you mentioned, he averaged over 20 points in the summer league, shooting 47% and 40% from 3, with 6 rebounds and 3 assists per game. Right?
Yeah.
He is a starting guard for the Utah Jazz. It's just whether or not it's going to be next to KG3 or Isaiah, I think is the question. I don't know if it's going to happen right away, because you got Isaiah and you got Keontae, who didn't get a chance to do anything this summer league because the Jazz didn't let him play. I don't think he's going to be the starting. He's going to be a starting guard on opening night. When the ball tips. But you mark my words, by the end of the year, he will be a starting guard for this team. I got no question about that.
See, and I think Clayton is going to be. I think he could be like a first guy off the bench. But I think it kind of depends on how this team looks defensively, because if you can continue to be consistent defensively, I think you probably move to Walter Clayton, because he's not as great of a defensive player as Isaiah Collier is, right? So as of now, knowing you might have some defensive weakness, you're going to lean more on Collier, because he is great at the point of attack, bringing the ball up. He does stay quick. But if you can get some defensive support in that 2, 3, 4 spot, I think you might see Clayton, because he's a better offensive player, get into that role. So I like your take there, and I could definitely see your point.
Either way, depending on if Isaiah Collier is the starting point guard, I see Walter Clayton being your starting shooting guard. They're going to be undersized, but you also got to remember everybody else in that lineup. That we're going to have length at the 3, 4, and 5 that's going to be almost unmatched in the NBA, with the exception of OKC.
Right.
But then if it's but here's the problem, is that Isaiah can't shoot, man. He can't shoot. He's just not a shooter. He hasn't been. He's had games where he shot 43% from 3 and 55% from the field, had 10 assists, but also had like 4 turnovers, 4 or 5 turnovers. He's just not consistent enough on the scoring side. You can't be a starting point guard in the NBA without being able to score the ball. The guy is an assist machine, which is something that Walter Clayton Jr. needs to work on a little bit more.
Yeah.
Which why I don't think he's going to come off the bench at least at the beginning of the year. But if you have Isaiah playing 1, then you got Walter Clayton Jr. playing 2. If you got KG3 in there starting, then Walter Clayton's gonna be running point, and KG3 I think has done enough over the last few years to prove that he's not a point guard, he's a shooting guard. So I just think out of that, it depends on who's coming out. Like I said, I'm just calling my shot on it. I think Walter Clayton's in the starting lineup by the end of the year.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
Anybody else you got out that stand out to you in summer league?
I mean, I think Cody Williams has shown a lot. You know what I mean? I think, he was kind of had a slow start, but he's really kind of shown some promise. Obviously he had a down season last year, and everyone wanted to see a whole lot more from him in his quote unquote developmentally, his developmental season, that rookie year. You expect to kind of see him step up and take shots and be more comfortable by the end of the season. But in summer league, he has stepped up enough to say, okay, I think we got some hope for this guy. Like, I think he can come out here and be productive and make some good decisions. So yeah, I mean, I really like Cody Williams this offseason as well.
I like a lot what Cody. I was ready to send him ban him to the shadow realm after last year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not necessarily anything that was wrong with him. I think, he is doing but everybody was like, oh, this is so and so's little brother. If he's anything like that, he's gonna be great. I'm like, let's pump the brakes on that. But what I really like about him is that he came in noticeably bigger, noticeably quicker.
Yeah.
And he let the game come to him. He didn't just come out in the first game in the Utah Summer League and try to throw up, 30 shots and make 5 of them or 8 of them or something crazy like that. A lot of his development has been incremental. If you looked at the stat line in the box score for him every single game that he's played in, you've seen incremental growth in multiple categories, whether it be the plus minus was the biggest one that stood out to me. I think he only had a negative plus minus in 1 game he's played the entire summer league.
Yeah.
You have to fact check me on that one in the comments, but I think I'm right on that one. Yeah, man, I like it. I like what I saw. I think he's gonna probably be the first guy off the bench that's gonna be one of our wings, either at a 3 or a 4 coming off the bench. Ace Bailey, does he start for you for this team? I think you kind of have to, don't you?
I don't know, man. I'm curious.
The lineup is going to be tough.
The lineup is going to be really tough, because I think the problem is if you start Ace Bailey, I don't think Cody Williams is the first guy off the bench. I think Taylor Hendricks will be.
Ooh, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Well, I don't think Cody Williams starts. I think Taylor Hendricks is going to start over Cody. The reason why I think that would happen is if Cody Williams would start, because they're worried about his injury. They want to bring him back slowly. Because like I said, Taylor Hendricks has to hit for this team, or else that draft was a complete waste of time. The other guys just aren't necessarily what you were hoping for.
Yeah.
He's still going to be the bright beacon on that one, I think, for that team.
Yeah.
I mean, Bryson Small was great. Don't get me wrong. We've talked about him last week, where he needs to develop something else other than just being a elite shooter to really stick with the team. But yeah, I like it. I like it, man. Cody Williams is looking good for me.
Yep, I totally agree. I mean, I don't know. It's been really fun. It's been a really fun, summer league to kind of see some of these guys develop and see them take that next step to where you have faith that they can compete on an NBA floor.
Yeah. I honestly think they just let Flip play one more game just as a confidence booster, man.
Just let them go out there and put up 50.
Yeah. I don't think anybody cares that the Jazz didn't win a single summer league game. Do you care?
No. Not even a little bit, actually.
Yeah, he made the game winner, and then, there's a little bit of lapse on defense, but that kid hit a crazy shot, turnaround jumper to win it to win it at the buzzer there. The only thing I'd like to see is the Flip not celebrate so much when you haven't won the game yet. That's kind of the only thing. I'm like, come on, dude. Yeah, you guys didn't win yet.
Easy.
Let's
easy. There's still more basketball to play.
Exactly. I think it's funny. Let's hit some of these comments before we jump into the other subject we want to talk about here. Let's see here. We got McKinley Cutler. Yeah, Flip needs to be able to play the 4, because while he's been dominant on offense, he's getting
cooked by G League guys in summer league.
Yeah, which is not great. Not great. Some of these guys aren't even going to be G League, dude. It also is weird that we have one of the shortest wings. He has one of the shortest wingspans on the team as a center, a 6'10" wingspan, and he's determined.
He's detrimental even at the 4.
Detrimental even at the 4. Yeah, we talked about that in a previous episode. Gosh, it's going back about a year or so now. That for a guy his size, his wingspan is kind of leaves a lot lacking, which means he could be subbed out in defensive situations just simply because people will be able
as
to
long
shoot
as
over him.
T-Rex can shoot, man.
There
You know what I mean?
There you go. I like it. So yes, Clayton has to be. I think Clayton may have bumped Isaiah for the 1 spot. For me, just need to be able to shoot at the 1 and 2 today's league. Yeah, it's kind of the big thing, man. That's my only down thing. If Isaiah could show us something on the point side of things, man, on the shooting capability, either get closer to 40% from 3 or shoot closer to 50% from the field. I think those are the 2 things that he needs to kind of get a little bit better on. Either way, man, I'll take it either way. We also have loving what I'm seeing from Cody on the defensive end. Want to see a lineup of Cody at the 2,
Yeah.
then Ace, Taylor, and Walker.
Yeah.
That lineup would be interesting.
Just to see what the defense brings. Yeah.
Good point, man. I like that lineup. I don't know. I haven't put any thought to that one. I have to look some numbers, man. See some measurables on that. That looks interesting. I think Flip hasn't been pulled because he is the only center on the summer league team. Yeah. I don't know, man. I looked at that bench, man, and I didn't know if there's anybody. Not a whole lot of DMPs for anybody above 6'10", so that's for sure. But yeah, we want to hear from you folks. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below when it comes to Utah Jazz. We'd love to hear from you on that. One more thing we want to talk about before we move on is Lauri Markkanen, man. This is something I want to talk about. This is something that's been talked about on a lot of local podcast stuff, which just comes to Lauri Markkanen. And basically, we're in it now. We're in his new contract. He got a mass extension as a player for the Utah Jazz.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you watched the Hoops Nerd show at all.
I did not.
But he's basically got a couple of videos on this where he talks about the contract, and Locke actually talked about it on Locked On Jazz a little bit as well. I think David Locke is a little homerish on this one. I think he's just overselling Markkanen's value overall to the rest of the league. Yeah, so kind of just what I want to talk about is there are 3 key points that basically kind of make Lauri Markkanen untradeable at this point.
Yeah.
So let's first start with the contract, okay?
Okay.
So 5 years, $238 million at face value, which is a $47 million AAV for a 28-year-old three-point shooting specialist with an injury history that shot 35% from 3 last season.
Okay.
So
I disagree with an injury history. Yeah, he's been injured, but the last 2 seasons have been injured, and that's air quotes if you're listening on the podcast, not necessarily injured, because Lauri Markkanen's had a relatively healthy career. He has been very serviceable.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll get to that. Even if the Jazz wanted to move Lauri, which I'm not saying they do, I think it's been very clear to most that the Jazz want to keep him around, and he's going to still be with the team when this team is actually competitive. But let's say they want to move him. With the CBA where it is right now, it's going to be very, very difficult to move that contract when there weren't that many teams interested in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
When he was on his expiring contract where he was only, $17 million, coming into last year when his value was high, we only had about 4 or 5 teams that were interested in him. Now that he's signed to that with the new CBA, basically makes that particular contract almost untouchable for all the people who were in on him last season. San Antonio Spurs are out. They don't have the cap space. The Lakers would have to trade Hachimura and involve a third team and a mid-level exception to get that to work. And the Golden State Warriors, they've already, and the Lakers wouldn't be in because they already signed a big, right? So, and the Golden State Warriors were interested on them, but we couldn't make that work because they're in the second apron, so they wouldn't have the ability to make that trade. They'd have to do a 1-for-1. And they wouldn't have anybody they can send back for a 1 that would, other than Draymond Green,
Steph Curry.
Yeah, which is not going to happen. The only reason why they care to do anything is to keep Steph Curry there, and keep him happy for the last part of his career. So I'm not saying what I'm not saying is that the Jazz want to trade him. In fact, most NBA insiders are saying he isn't untouchable. The Jazz would need the right price in order for him to want to move. The argument is that contract alone makes the right price almost impossible for any team that would have interest in him.
Yeah, no, and I mean, and I totally agree with that because, but the thing is he is a key piece to the franchise's future. I do think, right? On his 5-year contract, you're going to get 3 of those years are going to be in his prime years playing basketball. He's what, 28 right now?
Yes.
So, I mean, he's coming into his prime years playing basketball. The Jazz have assembled a very strong core of players. We've got a really exciting season coming up. I don't think we're going to win a lot, but I think it's really exciting from a developmental, standpoint. And I mean, the big thing is like Ryan Smith went on record and said that they're not worried about, Markkanen's contract here. Obviously they signed him to it, so they're not going to say they're worried about it. And they're way under, the luxury tax or anything like that. So
yeah, that's the short-sightedness of an NBA owner who doesn't realize that at some point that $47 million contract is going to be a problem. When you're sitting in a situation when you're on the inside, looking on the outside looking in, and you're looking to improve this team to a point where you're pushing for contention, and you have an aging Lauri Markkanen on your team who's making $47 million a year.
Well, that
that's
contract's
going to get
front-loaded, though. That contract's front-loaded. It goes down in value. It's not like 47 straight every year.
Yes, and part of this was actually was preloaded for last season. Like he got $28 million last season, so it's really only 4 years, $214 million. Which is actually a higher AAV than 47. But you're right, it does kind of tail out towards the end of the contract. But here's my issue when it comes to injuries. Yes, we can do the air quote thing all we want, injuries for last year. He did miss 29 games last year. 12 of them were due to knee issues, and 17 were with back issues. The knee issues is what sidelined him towards the end of the year, which was a true injury. We know because they got fined for the 17 previous games that he missed because of the back issues with the air quotes there. Basically, you're not going to be able to get away with that again next year.
Right.
You have to have a legit injury. And here's my point on that. If you look back at his history, he has steadily missed more games every year that he's been in the NBA.
Yeah.
Injury. That's not going to get better as he gets older.
Well, I don't think it gets better, but I think there's still, you're looking at the last couple of years with the Jazz, and the thing is there is a lot of that in the last couple of years that he was not actually injured. They were sitting him to lose games.
But that's the point, that the injuries are still there for the value of the contract. The Utah Jazz can't be like, oh, yeah, by the way, he wasn't really hurt.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
His
I see
contract value is going to be
Yeah, when you're
impacted by
looking
that.
at what his contract value is versus how many games he's played, you can't just say, shh, he wasn't actually hurt for
Yeah,
those.
it doesn't
He's good.
matter. You have to take the value of what it is at face value. You
Okay,
can't-
I see what you're saying.
That's kind of where the injuries and those numbers are going to continue to come up. Next year, I want to bet you he's probably going to miss more than 29 games, and 17 of those are not going to be because of fake back issues. I think a lot of it's going to be due to real back spasm issues that he has reported to have. Now, with that said, though, he also had diminishing stats, and I know where you're going to go on this one, so I'll let you say your piece. But last season, he had his worst season in a Jazz uniform, down almost 4 points and shooting 6% less efficient from the field, 5% less efficient from three, both rebounds, assists, and steals all down across the board.
Yeah.
What do you want to say to that?
I want to say, look at the damn team that was around him. When you are the focal point of any offense, your numbers are going to fall. If you're the only person on the team that can score the ball religiously, of course. I mean,
I would argue that against that all day, every day.
How come?
Because a good player on a bad team still hits numbers.
Yeah.
Especially the player that's an all-star. If someone's got to, it's like I said with Bryce Sensabaugh, somebody's got to make the buckets. And when you're an all-star and you're being paid to the level of an all-star that an all-star is supposed to be, and you are the first option on this team, which he has been ever since he's been in a Jazz uniform, not just this year, but the 2 years prior when he was averaging close to 30 points a game. In this situation, your bad play is not, you can't tell, no player in the NBA is going to take a shot off. You put them on the court, they're going to try and play, and they're going to try and win. His performance on the court had absolutely nothing. If you're going to tell me it's because, he's on a bad team, I'm going to call BS, dude. He's always been on a team that he's been the main focal point on the whole time. And you're paying him at an all-star level, and all-star players are expected to perform regardless of whether or not they're on a good team or not.
Yeah, but you're on a bad team that's trying to lose basketball games. I would be very curious to see how his minutes were last year, or his minutes the year before compared to his All-Star season.
I actually had that up, and I actually had that as a valid point to argue, but it wasn't as much as you think it was.
No?
It was down 3 minutes per game, which is a lot,
I mean,
but not
3 minutes and 4 points in 3 minutes.
Is that a lot? To me, that's not. If going down 6%, 4 points, 6% from the field, 5% from three, when you're known as a 3-point shooter.
But from your point, though, you're saying that he's the key piece on this offense. So if you're going to say that he's the key piece in 3 minutes, he should have 4 to 5 touches in that, which is easily 4 points, if not way more than that.
It should be more than that.
Well, but
that's my argument. Is it should be more than that.
Okay, but that even further proves my point, right? So if you're taking 4 minutes off of his time,
I think that more proves my point, AJ.
No, it's my point.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, so even though if he missed a few more games here and there, they aren't significant enough to make him stat-wise across the board, which he did have his worst season. So again, take that into effect. Look at it as an opposing GM that wants to trade for Larry Markkinen. What you're seeing is that 5-year, $238 million, or more importantly, 4-year, $218 million contract. He missed 29 games last year. He has a diminishing returns as far as his performance goes. He had the worst career he's ever had in a Jazz uniform last year. So if you want to trade this guy, the Jazz made it very, very difficult to trade him.
Yeah, I mean their mark was they're only going to take quite a haul for any to even consider moving Laurie, and you're absolutely correct. The fact is unless he's playing at his peak, no team's giving up the haul that the Jazz are going to require. You know what I mean, to actually move him. But I think it just kind of furthers the point that the Jazz are not looking to move him.
No, I agree with you. We talked about it on a previous episode when we were doing we did a collab with JK Philly. When you got a player like Larry Markkinen that wants to be with this team and is an all-star level talent, you sign him to the team and you keep him here.
Yep.
And I think that's exactly what the Jazz did. The only thing I think that where he might be a little disgruntled when he signed that contract is he agreed to one more year of losing, and I don't think he's on board to lose again this season. Unfortunately, the Jazz are not going to want to win this season. We both kind of see them winning more games this season than they did last year. I think you both and I agree on that one. But I don't think they're going to be winning enough to where it's not going to be something that's going to be something he's okay with.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But really, I mean, if he's not okay with it, what he needs to do is go out there and score 25 points a game.
Yeah, which is what the Jazz don't want.
Right. But you know what I mean? They're like, that's what, if he's not okay with losing more, he needs to go out there and score 25 points a game to regain all of his trade value. And then at that point, you're like, hey, somebody's going to give you something for me. I'm scoring 20. I'm having career high stats. You know what I mean?
Not to the level that the Jazz got last time when they were fielding offers for him. They were listening to offers to him last time from Golden State, San Antonio, and a few other teams were interested in him, and it wasn't enough to move him. Those offers aren't going to be anywhere near that number this time, because the CBA has basically made it impossible to give these players these kind of contracts and be able to survive it.
Yeah.
So I think all the Jazz did was make Larry Markkinen untradeable, which is fine for the Jazz because they didn't want to trim him in the first place.
Love it. There's the punchline.
We want to hear from you folks. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below when it comes to Larry Markkinen and a lot of the trade rumors that are jumping out with him. Some of the local proponents, we won't name names, are saying that he needs to be traded and that this contract makes it difficult. We would argue that there's no point in trading him in the first place.
Absolutely.
We want to hear from you folks. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. As a reminder, we did just launch a channel for your Utah Jazz called Utah Jazz DNA. This is a channel dedicated to your Utah Jazz. All of our content will be posted here first. So if you have not yet and you're watching this on our main channel, DNA Sports Recap, a link to Utah Jazz DNA will be in the description down below. While you're down there, smash that like button for your boy AJ over there. Check out the merch store. We have a Hot Rod Hundley t-shirt that's up right now on the merch store that I think is fire. If you didn't watch this team back in the day, then you don't know Hot Rod Hundley, then you probably don't know what I'm talking about, like this guy. But check it out. Let us know what you thought. Let us know what you think about the merch store. And again, subscribe to the channel. This is the type of stuff you enjoy watching.
Do it.
All right, man. Let's go ahead and jump into Major League Baseball. But before you, let's hit this comment here real quick. If you look, let's see here. Yeah, this one. Okay, here we go. This one, especially because we don't have to pay anyone until he isn't expiring. I don't see any reason to
try and dump Laurie for a loss.
Yeah, that's kind of what you were saying there.
Yeah.
a little bit. You know, his contract goes down. And yeah, I think that's a good point. You know, a lot of these players are going to be on a rookie scale contract for a while. The only thing is, if we want to make any moves around those rookies that would bolster the team, then Laurie's contract becomes a problem. If you look around the league, most teams have a contract like Laurie's. The new CBA makes a lot of contracts signed right before or after the new CBA look like horrible contracts that would be hard to move. Yeah, I'd mention the only thing on that is I'd mention those teams that have these types of contracts are probably in a better position than Utah are right now when it comes to where they want to be in their development. I think the Jazz kind of missed the mark the first 2 years of this rebuild or tear down. And this was like last season was the first year of the rebuild, which if you buy into that crap, congratulations. I got some beachfront pop in Arizona to sell you. They basically just missed the mark, and I think Austin Ainge is doing an incredible job of riding the ship. So more on that on another video, though. What do you think?
Yes.
All right, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Major League Baseball. All right, folks, before we get into the content, we want to remind you folks that we did just hit 1,000 subscribers on this channel. If you have not yet, subscribe to the channel. Run down there, hit the notification bell, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We did just hit 1,000 subscribers on this channel. We're doing a giveaway where the first $500 that we earn in AdSense revenue is going back to you. 5 subscribers are each going to earn $100 each, so make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on that giveaway. All right, man, before we get into the first subject, we really didn't want to cover too much of the All-Star game this year. As you know, we didn't do the snubs of the All-Star game too much. We talked about it a little bit, but we didn't go into much of a dive on baseball when it comes to the All-Star weekend last year, like we did this year like we did last year, basically.
Yeah.
Went into a little bit more to it last year, and honestly, just not a whole lot of people watched it, and we weren't really that interested in covering it that much. So we kind of just took a step off of it. So if you were watching us for that content last year, you were one of the 5 people who watched that video. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
But I did want to cover a little bit on the All-Star game. The first thing that happened before the All-Star game happened, which went down yesterday, but prior to us being off the air, was the fact that a player made the team that didn't really seem to be qualified. That was Jacob Mizorowski of the Milwaukee Brewers as an All-Star. Now, why is this such a big deal, AJ?
I mean, it's kind of a big deal because this dude has 5, count them, 5 career starts in Major League Baseball so far. Now, don't get me wrong. In these 5 starts, he has been impressed. He has been very impressive, right? 2.81 ERA, 0.90 WHIP, and 33 strikeouts in 25.2 innings. Great numbers. Great numbers. But you got 5 starts.
Right.
Okay. He did come out. I mean, he's a 6'7" rookie, right? He's got a 4-1 record. And he's only allowed 12 hits. I mean, in his 25 innings, but
only 25 innings though, and yet you're an All-Star.
I mean, that's exactly it, dude. He's played 25 innings.
25 innings in 5 starts, which means you're not going past 5 innings in any of these starts.
Yeah, well, you went past 5. Yeah, exactly. You were in
On
5
average.
innings every single start. Yeah.
You know, so you're not facing the line of a third time through.
Yep.
More than likely. Correct me in the comments, Milwaukee
Well,
Brewers
probably
fans
not
are
if
wrong.
you've only given up 12 hits.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Do you think it's a big deal? Is it a nothing burger? Do you care? Do you not care?
I think that there's great arguments on both sides. You know what I mean? Like, is 5 starts enough? Has this guy done enough in 5 starts to say that he deserved an All-Star nod? No, probably not. Was he the MLB's first choice for an All-Star replacement?
No.
The answer is no. You know what I mean? Like, the MLB reached out to a dozen pitchers before they picked this guy.
Yeah.
And
that's kind of the part that a lot of people miss.
Yeah. I mean, so if you've called 12 other pitchers and been like, hey, you want to be in the All-Star game? They're like, no, I'm actually on break this week because you didn't select me originally.
So I made plans. I'm going to Cancun. Can't cancel my life.
I'm doing whatever. You know what I mean? I'm taking the wife wherever. Like, I'm hanging with the family. Like, I get that. So this guy's kind of been blowing up on social media, and he's bringing a lot of positive energy to Major League Baseball. You know, he's a big dude at, like I said, at 6'7". So to bring a little bit of excitement to a player that is this young, that is a rookie, for him to make an All-Star game. I like that idea. You know what I mean? Like to bring more attention and more eyes on the All-Star game. I like that. But I don't know if this was the way to go about it, because there are pitchers that are having really good seasons that were not one of the first 12 that were called.
Yeah. On that point, if the 12 that you called that said no, if you would have called them ahead of time, then probably 6 out of those 12 would have been heck yeah.
Exactly.
But here's the issue. I think this needs to be reserved for the legend pick that Clayton Kershaw got.
Yeah.
I think you fill that spot sooner. Like if you know that you're going to have a player down or a player's not going to start after you nominated them, after they got the All-Star nod, let them know you've got 72 hours to respond.
Yeah.
Right? On whether or not you're coming or not, so we can fill your spot. And let some of these people who may not be say, hey, just so you know, you're on our list of alternates ahead of time. Is that if someone falls off or someone can't make it or some reason, you know, you had enough votes that we want to consider you, so just be ready for that.
Yeah.
And then if you can't, then you make a legend of baseball pick to go to the All-Star game, so you don't run into this problem.
Yeah.
So, and again, same problem. You probably would present a legend and he'll just say, no, sorry, I can't make it. You know, so I think it's kind of more the same there. But I think in this case, this is kind of, yeah, I'm right there with you. Yeah, there's, like you said, plenty of other starters that they could have reached out to. They didn't, but they were trying to bring in somebody splashy, somebody big in the league that made a difference. But here's kind of the exact same thing they did last year. You know who they did this with last year?
I do not.
Previous record.
Oh, Paul Skeens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
With the least amount of time in the majors before they got an All-Star nod. And by the way, he got the start of the All-Star game. He had 10 appearances and became the NL starter. But that was Paul Skeens with 10 starts, dude. You know,
And which was the record up until this year.
yes. So he had 10 starts and he made the All-Star team. He also started the All-Star team. That tells you what he had to do to earn that spot, right? So, yeah, it's just, you're right, man. On both sides, this is kind of, MLB tried. They could have tried harder to find somebody who's a little bit more qualified, and understand why they picked The Miz, because he's doing so well and he's jumping out. This is the other problem with making sure there's somebody on every team, you know.
Yeah.
You could have had this guy, and instead of having somebody from Colorado or somebody from, you know, insert terrible team here. So
The White Sox.
Exactly. Like who made the All-Star team? It was the White Sox. Nobody knows. Nobody cares, including the person who made it. So this was mishandled by Major League Baseball. They should have done a little better. Is basically what I'm saying. I kind of agree with you on both sides of that, though.
Yeah. No. I mean, I think that's just it, dude. I mean, I think one thing we need to remember is that the All-Star game means absolutely nothing now.
Right.
I mean, this is a fan-focused exhibition. It's not tied to a World Series home field advantage. It's not.
Thank God. That was the dumbest thing ever.
The game means nothing. You're just out there purely for fan entertainment. You know, and some of the Phillies guys had some pretty harsh criticisms on it, saying that it's turning into the Savannah Bananas, and
yeah,
there's a lot of stuff on that there. And the Phillies pitchers or the Phillies guys were obviously upset about their pitchers not getting called.
Yes,
you know, Ranger Suarez and
Wheeler.
Yeah, so I get that. I think it could have been handled. I think it could have been handled better. But I see why MLB did what they did.
Oh yeah. I have to agree with you on that one. We're going to more talk on Major League Baseball All-Star Weekend here in a little bit, which is weird because the game was on Tuesday. The Home Run Derby was on Monday. So I don't know why we call it All-Star Weekend. It wasn't on the weekend, so we're not going to call it that anymore. TNA rule, booking it.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about also what dropped this weekend, which was the Rays were sold, man. The Tampa Bay Rays. Owner Stu Sternberg has agreed in principle to sell the team for $1.7 billion to a franchise, sell the franchise to a group led by Florida-based business developer Patrick Zalupski. Gosh, just terrible names, dude.
You really are.
This was reported by The Athletic. What do you got on this?
Yeah, I mean, this deal's expected to close in September of 2025. It's obviously still pending all of the final approvals and stuff. So, I mean, the sale kind of follows the team's decision, 4 months ago to back out of the $1.3 billion stadium project near Tropicana Field. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's kind of interesting. Sternberg originally purchased the Rays in 2004 for $200 million.
So
now
gross.
selling it for $1.7 billion.
So gross.
So gross. So I mean, he did spend a lot of time kind of searching for a replacement for Tropicana Field, which is obviously widely known as one of the worst Major League
Yes,
Baseball
but
stadiums.
if you didn't let the roof go past its warranty and past its use case, it may have survived the storm. I'm just saying. Or if you're going to be in a hurricane zone, maybe have
A hard top on your stadium?
or maybe build draining into your stadium when you know you're in a flood zone.
Yeah.
You know,
Do anything other than what
Just
you
saying.
did, Tampa Bay.
just let the
Anything.
roof go, duct tape some of the holes, and just call it good because you only need it for 2 more years.
Yeah, a little bit duct
Right,
tape
in
will fix anything,
Hurricane
dude.
Alley. Don't worry about it.
I mean, I would personally recommend the black tape. You know
There
what
you
I mean?
go.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Gorilla Tape.
yeah. Well, Gorilla Tape, or what's the other one? The one that they float on a
Oh,
boat in?
Flex Seal.
Flex
Flex
Seal.
Seal tape. There
If
you
they
go.
would have flex sealed that roof, dude, that thing would still be there to this day.
Yeah, dude. You know what we're
I
talking
wish
about.
I wish they
High
would have
risk,
called
man.
me. I could have totally helped out with this.
Because we would have saved you so much money. That's
Yeah.
such a meaningless cost too.
Yeah.
A couple $1 million, no big deal. Yeah, man, I think this is great because it's all indications that the Tampa Bay-led group is going to do everything they can to keep the team and actually move the team into Tampa Bay, not St. Petersburg where they've been, where
Yeah.
the Trop is. They're going to have to move back into the Trop. They've made some developments. Costs on that have already gone up. But, with the prospect of a new ownership team, a new ownership group, we're thinking about the timing of this. In September is when it's finally going to close. You know what happens in September?
No.
It's the end of the season, man.
Oh yeah.
That's like playoff baseball. That's
Yeah.
when you're going to finalize the selling of your team. Like when they become a,
They finally make the playoffs, and he's just like, "Yep, we're done here."
yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense there. I'm seeing some comments there. We talk about it. We're going to get into the swing off man. Lots of takes plus and minus on that one. AJ, your boy, didn't watch it, so we'll talk about that with him, and we'll get his take on it for somebody who didn't see it, and I think that's actually going to be great. So we'll talk about it here in a minute. One of the things we want to talk about before that is we actually want to talk about, there's going to kind of be a segue. We're going to talk about the Home Run Derby champion, my friend. 2026, Cal Raleigh
Yeah.
won the Home Run Derby this year in the All-Star game. Just happened to be that he announced on Monday that he's going to be joining Team USA for the 2026 WBC, dude. This is freaking huge.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it's pretty cool because he came on and he was noted saying it was a no-brainer to represent Team USA, and he's hoping to create a memory and win gold. He has hinted, that he was interested in participating in the World Baseball Classic, but he was only formally approached last week. So
Yeah.
pretty cool that he is going to be added. I mean, obviously in the same season as his All-Star debut, so really, really cool. I mean, this guy's having a great season. He's leading Major League Baseball with 38 home runs, 82 RBIs, a 1.01 OPS, second only to Mr. Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and on pace currently for 64 home runs.
Yeah.
Which
I don't
is
see him
absolutely
hitting
insane.
that because he's a catcher. So I see that towards the end of the season, towards the back half, his production may slide a little bit. But more importantly, dude, this is a switch hitting catcher.
Which is insane.
When was the last time you saw a switch hitting catcher?
I don't ever remember any switch hitting catchers.
I just remember one, Yasmani Grandal. He's a switch hitting catcher.
Okay.
But all of his power is on the left side. So Cal Raleigh's a little bit different. I think his home runs are a little bit better split. Check out this roster so far. So we have Cal Raleigh, Aaron Judge, Bobby Witt Jr., and who also announced that he's joining the team, Paul Skeens,
Which is sick.
for the 2026. Those are the people who are confirmed for this team. There are some others that are expected to return: Kyle Tucker, Mookie Betts, Bryce Harper, Aaron Judge as well. Some other people there that also are expected to return or expected to be projected to be with the team, according to Bleacher Report. But I don't know, man. This channel started on the back of the World Baseball Classic. Some of our first videos were about that.
Yeah.
And some of the most exciting baseball you have ever watched in your life was that tournament, man. It was insane.
The tournament, and then the way it ended too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was just like mind blowing. Of course, to have that final matchup that everybody wanted, Shohei versus Trout, same team. They're both playing for the Angels. Shohei strikes him out. Like, what a game.
Yeah, it was probably the most important at bat for either one of those in their career. At that
Absolutely.
point.
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani's never been in a playoff situation. Neither is Mike Trout. He's only been in a wild card round once where they got swept out of. most important at bat for either one of those players in their career, and it was really cool to see. I don't know if we'll ever see a World Baseball Classic live up to that kind of like moment, but I definitely think that.
But we'll be here covering it when it does happen.
Absolutely, and I do think there's a lot of emphasis on Team USA this year that there wasn't last time. I'm hearing a lot more players want to be involved and a lot less backlash on it. So we'll have to see how many people. I think this is right, man. You got to have people like Paul Skeens, some of these young arms that can actually handle it.
Yeah.
Not a bunch of players who are getting longer in the tooth in their careers and throwing at max velocity a month earlier in the season is going to cause some problems.
Yeah.
Get some younger arms, some stronger arms that can really handle it, man. I think that's the right way to go. But let's go ahead and talk a little bit about some of the stuff I want to talk about when it comes to All-Star break. Obviously, we hit it on it already. Cal Raleigh Jr. winning the home run derby against, I think it's really funny because have you heard the controversy around this home run derby win?
No.
So there's that Rooker guy from the A's, right? Can't say Oakland, Sacramento A's, I guess.
I think they're just the A's.
Yeah, they're just the A's.
Yeah.
Of Sacramento West, whatever. Anyway, so they both hit the exact same amount of home runs in the second round, and they both hit 400. So basically, what would happen is the deciding on who goes in, who doesn't, is who hit the farthest home run. Well, they both hit a home run 417 feet. It was both their farthest home run.
The exact same amount of feet.
The exact same amount of feet.
They didn't measure the inches.
They did. That's why they're saying that Cal Raleigh won over Rooker was because he hit the ball a couple of inches further. So I'm calling BS on that a little bit. I'm calling BS on that. I'm all for AWS.
The only way I believe this is if they actually pull a tape out there, because otherwise it's just projecting the trajectory of the ball into the stands.
You're taking velocity, exit velocity, and launch angle, and then predicting what it is.
Yeah.
And you're telling me that Rooker's home run ball went an inch shorter based off projections than what Cal Raleigh's did. I honestly think there's a lot of people like, oh, they should go out there and do one more round. Right? Well, then now that person's just gone out for another round and they're exhausted too.
Yeah.
I think they made a judgment call here. And I think what they did is they picked Cal Raleigh because, one, did you see the video of this Cal Raleigh as like a 12-year-old kid being filmed by his dad? You know, he's holding a bat over the air. Yeah, I'm the home run derby champion. Mark it. I won the world. You know, he's like, I'm him. I'm the home run derby champion. His dad was filming him. You know,
I did not see that.
Yeah, he's like, maybe if I'm out there, you know, talking about it. And this is something that has been promoted since he's been introduced to the home run derby. That this video's been out there. This is him as a kid shouting himself as a home run derby champion. Yeah. And so I think they just wanted a moment there, a baseball poetic moment, which baseball's full of, right? This is definitely
without any assistance.
Yeah, I think that's what they were kind of going with here. And on top of that, not only this, but the guy who's throwing pitches to him was the guy holding the camera, his dad.
Oh, really?
And the person who was catching, his little brother.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
So I think that poetic moment kind of just like, okay, you know, if you're going to go by a longest home run and both hit the exact same distance and you're going to use launch angle to kind of favor one of them and the stats kind of give you that one little bit. So you'd be like, yes, okay. So statistically, his ball would have gone an inch or two further. Let's go with him. Yeah, I can see that because that story, man, is pretty awesome. So,
that is pretty awesome.
The other thing I want to talk about is going to be some of these players who were mic'd up during this time, man. We talked about Clayton Kershaw getting mic'd up as kind of the legend of the game. He was out there. If you know Clayton Kershaw, if you've seen the GOAT when he pitches, he's very regimented. He is not – every time he's out there, even for an All-Star game, he's taking it seriously, man. I mean, he knows it's an exhibition game, but he's giving it his all. And he was mic'd up during his inning. He was given two batters. They come and took the ball from him, and you know he walked off Turner Field. What is it called out there? Truist Park to a standing ovation in Atlanta, man, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he said all the right things about after the game. He's like, you know, I didn't want to ever take a player's spot. That's not where you want to be. I don't want to be known as like a legend of the game or whatever, and some other player was supposed to have my spot. You never want to be that guy. So I didn't like it for that, but then they explained to me that's not how it was. This is a gifted spot from the commissioner, and they told me who had it before. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm really honored to be on board with this. But he said something in that interview that I actually want to get your take on. He said that baseball has the best all-star game of all professional sports. And I don't disagree with him. Like,
I'm just thinking through all the All-Star games, and he's probably right. Because, I mean, the Pro Bowl in the NFL is a joke.
they had to do a flag football this last year.
Yeah, I
they
mean,
changed it to.
just an absolute joke. I mean, obviously the NBA All-Star game has gotten so much worse over the last 5 years. They're trying to craft it. They're trying. I mean, Adam Silver, I do believe has done a good job trying to change it, but it's still
They
not
missed
an
on
MLB
everything.
All-Star
Yeah.
game. Yeah,
And then hockey had to go to a Four Nations tournament to try and fix it up, which I think they did a great job.
they
But
did do a great job with that.
I don't think that's something you can do every year though, and have it
Right.
pay off like it did.
Yeah,
So I think he's right, man. I think that baseball is the only sport where you're going to still try in the All-Star game. No one's going to go up to the mound and throw a meatball for someone to hit a home run. You don't want to be the guy who gave up a home run during the All-Star game.
yeah,
You also don't want to be the guy who struck out at the All-Star game.
yeah,
It's an exhibition game, but you're still trying.
yeah,
Everybody's still trying, and so it's still fun to watch because everybody's out there, and yeah, it's fun, and yeah, there's not a whole lot on the line, but there's still a lot to play for.
right.
You know, I think baseball players still have pride to be there and pride to represent their team, and they really enjoy it. And I think that's kind of a big point. And he's right. The other two things I want to mention. Last thing was this was the year they actually got to wear their own jerseys during
Thank
the All-Star
goodness.
game, and that meant
We've done multiple videos on the horrific All-Star jerseys.
Yes, it was really really bad. I thought, and even the home run derby, the AL jerseys they had.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, they were nice, but they still were terrible. Like, let the players wear their jerseys, man.
yeah.
Like,
Home jersey or away jersey?
yeah,
You pick.
yeah. Home run derby, do a different version of their home jersey, but don't make everybody wear the same jersey. It kind of ruins the players' branding, to be honest, and it ruins the team branding. I think it's kind of fun to see, an outfield where you have two Cubs and a Padre, or an infield that has a Padre with a Dodger and a Dodger catcher and a Dodger pitcher with a Padre playing and a Cub playing first base.
Yeah, just
or Met playing
immediately
first
it's an
base.
All-Star game.
Yeah, it's all fun. It's about watching the greatest pickup game that you're going to see
Yep.
on a professional level, and I think that's a big deal.
Yep.
And the last thing I wanted to talk about when it comes to the All-Star game was the swing off. So, how it worked this year is this is obviously an exhibition game, right?
Yeah.
The All-Star game did at one point go into 15 innings. Correct me if I'm wrong, friend of the channel, Tiny Price. The longest one, I believe, was 15 innings. And the commissioner had to come out, Bud Selig actually had to come out and rule it a tie because it was going so long. And then he got booed, and no one wanted to deal with it. So what they did this time was called a swing-off. Now, what the swing-off is the managers get to pick 3 players to come off the bench, and all 3 players get 3 swings with nobody on the field. And the swing-off is whoever has the most home runs at the end wins.
I love that. Yeah.
And so if you watch the All-Star game, one of the big things about that was probably going to be the MVP winner was Polar Bear Pete Alonso. He hit a 3-run bomb. By the way, if it wasn't for the Padres and Giants fans out there, you guys blew it for the National League. We had like a 6-0 lead, and the American League came back and tied it because they gave up a couple of bombs. The relief pitchers for the Cubs and the Padres. And then I believe it was the Padres catcher that threw in his center field when they tried to pick off somebody stealing second. First of all, that's in baseball. Who's still trying to steal bases in an All-Star game? No one's like diving on the court for the ball in an All-Star game in basketball.
No.
So it's just awesome. But yeah, so thank you very much to the Padres or Cubs or the Giants catcher who threw the ball into center field when trying to steal that, because the game would never been to extra innings. But basically what happened is, I can't remember who the players were, but basically what happened with the swing off is they get 3 swings. You swing at the ball and you get 3 chances to hit it, and you swing at the ball, every swing counts, and they count the home runs. AL went up big with 2 home runs out of 3 swings, and the National League only got 1 home run off of their swing, and I believe it was a kid from Florida. They got the 1 home run. They went to the other side, Randy Arozarena for the American League. He was only able to make 1 home run, and then they brought up Kyle Schwarber. And Kyle Schwarber's like, I'm just going to put us in the best position to tie this up and hand it off to Pete to win it for us, because it was for the National League. It was that kid from Florida, Kyle Schwarber, and Pete Alonso, right? Those were the three that the manager picked, Dave Roberts. And Kyle Schwarber went up there and hit 3 bombs on 3 swings. And so when the American League player came up, it was a kid from the Tampa Bay Rays, forget his name already, came up, and he didn't hit one, which basically just meant that it was done. Like he didn't tie it, so the National League won. And then Kyle Schwarber got the All-Star MVP because he's technically the one that won the game for the National League.
That's actually really cool, though.
Yeah, super awesome, man. I would have to agree that I think the swing off was an excellent way to close it out. I think they did a great job with it. The funny thing about it was, and correct me if I'm comments if you guys caught this, how insane was it that for the cameraman? Because think about that. There's nobody on the field, and the ball gets hit out to the outfield. You're probably like, where the crap is it? Without a player to focus on, you don't know where that ball's going.
Yeah, absolutely. You're
So it
trying
looks
to,
like
you're
he
trying
crushed
to mark
it.
it. You're like, that way. Zoom down.
Yeah, so you put it towards the fence, and all of a sudden the ball drops in front of the camera 15 feet shy. You're like, oh, shit. You pull the camera back.
Missed it.
Yeah, I was like, how hard was that? We have a comment here from Greg Hawkins saying the swing off was electric. It was a better way. It was better than the home run derby. Yeah, I actually think it was. I actually think last year's home run derby was better than this year's, just not simply because Teo won it, but just because it was a little bit more, I don't know. It kind of got monotonous on the swings there. There's a few things, I don't know. And again, it's about the players, like which players were playing. Teo didn't return. You know, I don't think Pete Alonso was invited back. So it just depends. When your home run hitters aren't the ones that are there, it's kind of unfortunate. You know,
Yeah.
It's kind of like the dunk contest. You know, if it's not NBA players, a bunch of G League guys going out there and dunking, are we really watching the real NBA dunk contest, right? Tommy Price, friend of the channel. I agree, Greg. Much better. A couple more comments here on that. And of course, the White Sox almost injured Suarez. Yeah, so the White Sox beamed Eugenio Suarez on the wrist.
Of course.
The one player that was there. Should have gone to somebody else. It was great. The deciding factor was, Cal Raleigh hit for a home run 4 inches further. That's kind of dumb. Yeah, I have to agree, like I said, but you know, if it did go 4 inches further based off of the math, then you know you got to pick somehow. What are you gonna do? A coin flip? What would you do in that situation? If they both hit the same amount of home runs and their furthest home run both with the same farthest?
Get out a measuring tape.
But they can't.
I know.
Because the ball's not going to be there. It's a fan that's in the fan's hands. You know, I don't know. I think that's probably the best way to do it. Maybe rock, paper, scissors. I think
Where did you catch it? Where did you catch it? You know what I mean? That's literally like the difference between catching it here.
Yeah, where were the fans
And here.
sitting? Which row was it? Yeah. Exactly. And the furthest row got it. Can we talk about ESPN was terrible? Can't even focus on the home runs before the next pitch was thrown. Yeah, but that kind of goes into the way the home run derby is now. Originally, when they changed it to this new timing format, you weren't allowed to throw the next pitch until it hit the stands, until it was caught, until it was actually in the stadium, like in the stands. You couldn't pitch again. And Bryce Harper kind of cheated on this one a little bit to win his home run derby championship, and just had his dad lob him in a little bit earlier, you know, and no one cared. So no one's holding them to that rule. And even the umpire on the field is like, yeah, whatever, it's the exhibition, no one cares. I'm getting paid 6 figures to stand here, no big deal. I think that's also not only a problem with ESPN, which, by the way, we won't have to deal with it with ESPN. This is the last year they're covering the All-Star game. They're done, right?
Right, absolutely.
Something we probably should cover in another future episode of Major League Baseball is that NBC actually came in with a bigger offer than what ESPN was paying them. So our
That's
concern
insane.
about the whole thing might be going away. So we'll see. But yeah, I just think ESPN didn't care because they were just kind of done with baseball. Baseball does have the best All-Star game, and is way better than the NBA one. We also have we all wanted the NL to win that game for sure. Tammy, friend of the channel, yes, 15 innings was the longest one. Glad I remembered that one correctly. Thank you, Tammy. The AL won like 12 out of the last 14 or something ridiculous like that. So it was nice to see the NL win it. And honestly, there's just so much more talent on the National League than the American League. So it's kind of ridiculous that they keep losing. It's kind of hilarious to watch the Braves fans cheering on Schwarber. Yeah, it's kind of funny, you know, cheering for a player that, you know, knocks you out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's definitely interesting. And the fact that he run the, I think they did boo Dave Roberts when he announced Schwarber as one of the guys instead of Matt Olson,
Yeah.
Maybe he already went home. I think that's why Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani both already left, so they couldn't have them for the swing off. So I think they were just doing the best of what they had.
They're
left.
like, you two.
Yeah.
We've got 4 left. You 2 are playing.
Yeah, so I think that was part of it. But yeah, I just thought it was pretty awesome. And all in all, great All-Star game. Was fun to watch. Legend of the game, Kershaw, was fun to see pitch. It was fun to see how many people were mic'd up throughout the whole thing. Really loved the return of the old jerseys. The team jerseys. And really liked the swing off. It was a great, exciting way to end that game. We want to hear from you folks. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. As a reminder, folks, this channel did just hit 1,000 subscribers. We're giving the first $500 that we earn in AdSense revenue back to y'all. So if you have not yet, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on the giveaway. And as always, smash that like button for your boy AJ right over there.
Absolutely. And if you're watching on YouTube on one of our short videos, just know this is available as a podcast in its entirety wherever you get your audio.
With all that said, my name is Darren, that is AJ, and this has been an episode of the DNA Sports Recap.
Till next time.